locations and sub-locations are similarly undeveloped, crippling the mandate of national government administrative officers and denying residents to access to vital government services. In 2025, the following public participation was carried, and it was proposed that the administrative units be established to address these challenges. These administrative units include the following sub-counties. One is Sangailu sub-county, two, Ruga sub-county, and Kotile sub-county. And the divisions is as follows: Kurahindi, Gababa, Ege, Ilkambere, Marre, and Abalatiro. Honorable Speaker, the urgency of establishing this administrative unit is further underscored by the fact that Ijara constituency borders Somalia and is in close proximity to the Boni forest, areas that have historically posed significant security threats. These geographical realities expose the constituency to cross-border insecurity, including infiltration by criminals and extremist elements, thereby necessitating a stronger and a more decentralized administrative and security presence. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Status report include number one, status report including plans on gazettement of the proposed new sub-counties, namely Sangaili, Ruga, and Kotile, and the divisions of Kurahindi, Gababa, Ege, Ilkambere, Marre, and Abalatire in Ijara constituency. Number two, timelines within which the ministry intends to establish the units and deploy personnel to enhance governance, security, and equitable access to government services. Number three, measures being taken to ensure effective administration and service delivery in the affected areas prior to operationalization of the proposed unit. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Abdi. Chair Administration, Tongoyo.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We can respond the first Thursday once we resume from recess.
So directed. Samuel Gashove.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I like to request for a statement regarding upgrading of a road in Subukia constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the upgrading of Subukia Mwangaza, Simboyon Kanyot Bogoini Road in Subukia constituency. Honorable Speaker, the Subukia Mwangaza Simboyon Kanyot Bogoini Road G76553 and C1206, which is a 35-kilometer road, is currently in a severely dilapidated condition, rendering it largely impassable, particularly during the rainy seasons, when large sections become muddy and inaccessible. This situation has profoundly undermined mobility, safety, and the overall socio-economic well-being of residents within Subukia constituency. The affected area is predominantly an agricultural economic zone where farmers depend heavily on the road for the timely transportation of produce to local and regional markets. The poor state of the infrastructure has therefore resulted in substantial post-harvest losses, escalated transportation costs, restricted market access, and significantly reduced income for both farmers and traders. Furthermore, the continued neglect of this vital link has impeded broader development in the area and severely limited resident access to essential services, including healthcare, education, and commercial opportunities. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. Loman 1, plans being put in place to upgrade Subukia Mwangaza Simboyon, Kanyotu Bogoini Road to bitumen standard. Loman 2, details of the funds allocated for the upgrade of this road in the year 2025-2026 and 2026-2027 financial years and the status of the funding. Loman 3, timelines for commencement and completion of the upgrade of the named road. And Loman 4, plans being taken by the Ministry of Roads and Transport to improve the condition of Subukia Mwangaza, Simboyon Kanyot Bogoini Road to ensure accessibility, especially during rainy season. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Gashove. Chair, Transport and Infrastructure, GK. When can you bring a response?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We will respond first week after recess.
Okay. Is Edith Nyenze in the house? Tongoyo, are you ready for Edith Nyenze's? Raso, you are ready? Unfortunately, she's not in the house. So,
Mr. Speaker, Edith was able to prosecute an issue before the minister last week.
yes, and you concluded.
Yes.
So table the response.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Is Mashua Waithaka in the house? Honorable Mashua Waithaka. Energy, Ikaria, are you ready? Is the member who sought the statement in the house?
Honorable Speaker, I
He
can't
normally
see.
sits at the back.
Yeah,
there.
he sits around here. I think he's not. Or can I table this and then he can get a written response?
No,
Okay.
hold it. Clerk, can you defer that to Thursday afternoon?
Most
You
obliged.
can respond on Thursday afternoon.
Most obliged.
Carolo Mondi.
Please sit. Honorable Speaker, I did raise, and I would request that the majority leader pays attention. The member for Kikuyu and majority leader, please pay attention. I did request for a statement from the CS Treasury on the leasing of the sugar mills over 6-7 months ago. I've raised that statement twice. And I believe that this House, when statements are raised, there's a matter of urgency and there are issues of public concern and of public that require immediate attention. Since then, the first time we raised this question was about the leasing program and the evaluation of the assets, which we discovered were given away for free. Now, over the weekend, we were in Kisumu, and the sugarcane farmers came to see us. Right now, what is happening, Honorable Speaker, is that the government is losing revenue.
Carolo, what was given away for free?
Honorable Speaker, when the leasing program was undertaken,
Yes.
Muhoroni Sugar had a nucleus estate of 1,600 hectares.
Honorable Farah, that statement is directed at majority leader, so give him time to listen.
Yes. Let me give the breakdown. Muhoroni Sugar,
I thought you already asked that, and you are only asking when is the response coming?
no, there are new emerging issues that I must bring to the attention of the House so that
Under what
we
provision
appreciate
do you
the urgency.
Order.
We are supposed to address matters of interest to the
Under
public.
what standing order do you
Under
amend
the Constitution.
a pending request for a statement?
Honorable Speaker, I cannot ask my questions in vain in this House. Even under standing order number 1, you have the power to order that the minister be brought to the House to answer the questions. Right now, the price of cane has been reduced from 5,750 per ton to 4,800. The government is supposed to get 4,000 shillings per ton for sugarcane mill and 3,000 per ton for molasses. What the millers are doing, they are crushing the cane in their private companies and not in the public ones. So the government is not even getting concession. Workers have been laid off. Families are being broken. Salaries have been reduced. People are suffering in Muhoroni, in Chemelil, and everywhere, including Sony Sugar and Nzoia. But the majority leader is shielding the CS Treasury to come and answer these questions that affect people in Nyanza and Western Kenya. I demand that the minister be dragged here by his tail or ear, and this question be placed as a matter of urgency to help the suffering people of Kisumu. That is issue of concern, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And in response to that issue by Honorable Karoli, I don't know whether it's Karoli Omondi or Karoli. I have no business shielding any cabinet secretary. It is not part of my work to shield anybody, leave alone a cabinet secretary. And I know the cabinet secretary hails from Honorable Karoli's constituency. In fact, he was his predecessor in the constituency. And therefore, I may not even want to get involved in the tiff between them on local issues. But the cabinet secretary shall be appearing before the House. Before the House, not before you. When we resume back from recess, Honorable Karoli Omondi should know that this is the cabinet secretary in charge of the National Treasury. And he has just come back into the country from Washington, D.C., engaging with the IMF on many issues. The fact that he was in the village over the weekend, I just said he has just come back because he came back last week on Thursday. And this week we are not able to have any cabinet secretary here, being the last week before the short recess. And the cabinet secretary will be here after recess. And he will also be coming for the statement on revenue raising measures. So you have a lot of time to spend with the cabinet secretary in the House. Be prepared with all your questions. I am sure and very certain the Honorable John Buddy is up to scale and up to the task to answer all those issues. Being also somebody from the sugar belt, he knows and understands many of those issues. So the direct answer, Honorable Speaker, is that immediately after recess, we will schedule when the cabinet secretary will appear. And I'm certain he's also appearing before committees on engagements on the budget process. These are also issues, some of which that will be addressed through the Committee on Agriculture. And I would implore Karoli Omondi to also use the recess time, if those issues are very urgent, through the Committee for Agriculture to engage the Cabinet Secretary when he appears there on budget matters.
Thank you. Next order. Yes, yes, Jared.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you in a very special way, not just for giving me an opportunity to speak, but also to commend you for the intent that you have expressed, Honorable Speaker, to bring Social Health Authority and teachers together, Honorable Speaker, over this matter of onboarding teachers to SHA. Honorable Speaker, it is a testament that SHA works, and therefore the teachers who may be having other extraneous considerations as to why not to onboard this scheme, Honorable Speaker, is neither here nor there. And therefore, when I got word that you are going to bring these two warring factions together, Honorable Speaker, it fed into the leadership that you have not only provided in this House, but in our country, the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, we have as a nation experienced lots of challenges, but it calls for a person of your integrity, a person of your worth, to express the intention to bring the country together so that we can walk as a one unitary society. Honorable Speaker, we have, I need your protection. Some of my colleagues are, thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, our country has experienced lots of challenges, be it economic, be it political, be it social. economic issues, Honorable Speaker, we need a person like you to always be the big brother, to give direction to this country. Many a times, Honorable Speaker, the issues that divide us are so minute, are so trivial, that do not worth the time of a country such as ours that is now on a rapid flight to economic growth, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, this matter that you have taken to bring teachers and social health authority together is a welcomed idea. It's something that every Kenyan needs to support. The country is one, the teachers are so many, and there are many, many people, including myself, Honorable Speaker, whose mother is suffering from a terminal illness, that can bear witness that indeed social health authority works. And therefore, I wish you well as you bring the warring factions together, and I know with your intellect and your wisdom that you have consistently employed in this nation, those two entities, Teacher Service Commission and Social Health Authority, will come to an amicable solution on the impending issue. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Jared, for that comment. Isairo, on the same issue?
No, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm just making a last-ditch attempt on the issue to do with the response on Kera, because it's now 3 months.
On Kera?
Yes, and we are approaching another short recess, and the chair has always been promising to bring a response every other next week. And he had promised that today was the final day. He's going to give a response on where the 13 million from every constituency went. And Honorable Speaker, if the chair is not able to answer that today, he can as well tell us the money will not be forthcoming. We plan on what to do with the roads in our constituencies that are no longer passable with these rains. Honorable Speaker, we can't be coming here and asking for statements, and the chairman always giving a tentative date for response, and having these pushed forward every now and then to a point that this is the 3rd month we are waiting for the response from the Chair of Roads. Honorable Speaker.
From where you sit, you may have noticed the chairman talking to me here. He approached me and said that he has received a response which, from his estimation and understanding, is grossly inadequate. And he will not want to present something that he himself doesn't even believe in. So I've given him the direction that he goes back to the ministry and brings a response when we resume, because we are going on recess on Thursday. And I also know that the responsible minister lost his father and burial is on Thursday. So I've told him to do so the first Wednesday upon resumption, which will be the 27th of May. Chairman, is that the direction I gave you?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, that's the response.
Robert Mbui, on the same issue? Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the chairman gets his response, Mr. Speaker, it's good to note that this budget had been given and the amounts for every constituency had already been shared with the regional officers in charge of roads. And Mr. Speaker, tendering process had already begun and contractors had been awarded these roads. So, Mr. Speaker, it's going to be a very big problem if this money doesn't come back. Because what do you do with a tender that has already been opened and somebody has been assigned a job, and then suddenly you're being told as a roads committee to choose which roads will be done with the money that is available because this money is not there. So it's a major problem that he needs to deal with. And I think the only solution, Mr. Speaker, is for that money to actually be brought back. I think there is absolutely no other alternative. Otherwise, we'll end up in court with some of these contractors, and the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act is very clear. There should be no procurement done if the money is not available. So I think it's not a simple matter, and the chair has to take serious concern of it. Thank you.
Actually, that is the issue that Kisairo had raised. So it's good to emphasize. The chairman, you better attend to that and bring a response that is satisfactory and one that you also believe in. Next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, extension of the period for consideration of a certain petition.
Nyamoko, Chair Lance.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following procedural motion that pursuant to the provisions of Section 5(2) of the Petitions to Parliament Procedure Act Cap 7E and the Standing Order number 227(2), this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of public petition number 28 of 2025 regarding the ownership of land LR number 7545/3 brackets IR 21-038 forming the nucleus estate of Miwani Sugar Mills Limited as succeeded by Miwani Sugar Company Limited in receivership by a period of 30 days from 26 April to 2026. Honorable Speaker, this petition was presented to the House on 3rd December 2025 by the Honorable Member of Suba, Honorable Karoli Omondi, on behalf of the residents of Miwani in Kisumu County, concerning the ownership of land LR number 7545/3 into bracket IR 21038, forming the nucleus estate of Miwani Sugar Mills Limited, as succeeded by Miwani Sugar Company Limited in receivership. Honorable Speaker, the petition raises weighty and far-reaching matters that touch not only on legal and policy questions, but also on issues of significant public interests. It's therefore prudent for the committee to accord this matter the depth of consideration it deserves. Honorable Speaker, in the course of our preliminary review, it has become evident that the issues presented before the committee are complex, multifaceted, and therefore requires careful interrogation, a thorough examination of legal frameworks, policy implications, and potential socio-economic impact of any recommendations that this House may ultimately adopt. The committee has also found it necessary to engage a wide range of stakeholders whose input is critical to a fair and balanced determination. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that the committee seeks for more time to process or consider this petition that is before the committee. I therefore move and request Honorable Joseph Gitari to second.
Honorable Gitari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this matter is before our committee, and it's such a complex matter, and there are some authority we want to invite so that they can shed some light. So, Mr. Speaker, if we are given that extension of 30 days from 26th after we resume, we'll be able to conclude it in a good way and in a good manner as a good committee. So I second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Members on their feet, take your seats. Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is that, pursuant the provisions of Section 5(2) of the Petitions to Parliament Procedure Act, Cap 7E, and Standing Order 2272, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of public petition number 28 of 2025 regarding the ownership of LR number 7545/3 in brackets IR 21038, forming the nucleus estate of Miwani Sugar Mills Limited, as succeeded by Miwani Sugar Company Limited in receivership by a period of 30 days from 26 April 2026. This being a procedural motion, do I put the question? Honourable members, I now put the question, and Bowen and your colleague, you are out of order. I now put the question, which is that, pursuant to the provisions of Section 5(2) of the Petitions to Parliament Procedure Act, Cap 7E and Standing Order 2272, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of public petition number 28 of 2025 regarding the ownership of LR number 7545/3 or IR 21038, forming the nucleus estate of Miwani Sugar Mills Limited, as succeeded by Miwani Sugar Company Limited in receivership by a period of 30 days from 26th April 2026. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, the Certified Governance Secretaries Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2026, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide for the development and regulation of the Certified Governance Secretaries profession and for connected purposes. Order number 10, the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, second reading, resumption of debate.
Was any member on the floor? No members on the floor. Kawaya?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute to this particular bill. Honorable Speaker, this bill was committed to the Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining on 13th November 2025 for consideration and reporting to this House. Honorable Speaker, allow me first to thank the Majority Leader for introduction of this particular bill because it addresses most of the gaps that we have in this particular sector. Honorable Speaker, allow me to highlight some key provisions in this bill. This bill, one, establishes the Kenya Forest Academy, an institution that is supposed to train disciplined and uniformed officers. Two, it establishes the Office of the Director of Forest Regulation. Three, Honorable Speaker, this bill establishes the Kenya Forest Research Institute under the Forest Conservation and Management Act, which is currently domiciled under the Science, Technology and Innovation Act. Honorable Speaker, 4, this bill also establishes a framework for payment for ecosystem services. And finally, Honorable Speaker, this bill strengthens and also adds new offenses to the current bill. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank your good office for facilitating the Committee on Forestry, Environment, Forestry and Mining to conduct extensive public participation. We did public participation in 12 counties. And these counties are Isiolo County, Nyeri County, Embu County, Makueni County, Machakos County, Kilifi County, Kwale County, Kisumu County, Kakamega County, Kericho, Uasin Gishu, and Nakuru County. Honorable Speaker, during our public participation, we received both written and oral submissions. And Honorable Speaker, arising from the public participation and also consideration of this bill by the committee, we made the following observations. One, that the Forest Conservation and Management Act amendment bill, establishes the Kenya Forest College, which is supposed to train uniformed and disciplined officers. Honorable Speaker, the Office of the Director of Forest Regulation will provide regulatory oversight over KFS. Honorable Speaker, we've had a lot of complaints, including from the ministry, that some of this, especially the service, is operating basically without oversight, and we've had a lot of challenges, especially emanating from how rangers operate. And we've also received a lot of complaints from the public, especially regarding to rangers. Honorable Speaker, this bill again also establishes climate adaptation measures by incorporating efficient water harvesting and management technologies. Further, Honorable Speaker, this bill introduces PES. And this is very important, Honorable Speaker, the payment for ecosystem services. And I just want to give an example of Nairobi County and Nairobi as a whole. We enjoy water because people in Mount Kenya take care of the environment, and as a result of protecting the ecosystem, Nairobi is supposed to enjoy clean water. And this bill proposes that those who take care of the ecosystem are supposed to benefit basically from those who end up being the users of this particular product of the protected ecosystem. Honorable Speaker, we have also noticed that in the current bill, the offenses, the penalties to the offenses in the current bill are not punitive enough, and they only serve to encourage crimes in this sector. And I want to give an example. We've had a lot of challenges, people stealing forest products worth millions of shillings. And the current bill only allows offenses, allows fines to up to 100,000 for these offenses. Honorable Speaker, we feel that this particular enhanced fine is going to allow, is basically going to allow us to protect our forest in a better way by ensuring that these particular people who are stealing forest products from our forest, so basically when we arrest them, the charges are, the fines are commensurate to the offenses, because we have also, of course, received a memoranda from the public that the fines should be too punitive, but we also want to have fines that are commensurate to the offense. The current fines are up to 100,000. What has been proposed in this bill is fines up to 1 million shillings. And we, of course, expect that the justice system is going to weigh crimes against the fines, so that people who are, for instance, starting fires in the forest, of course, their fines are not likely to be the same as people who are stealing forest products worth millions of shillings from our Kenya Forest Services. Honorable Speaker, while that said, we have identified some gaps with these amendments. For instance, one, this bill proposes to establish the Kenya Forest Academy. But if you look at clearly to know how to address this particular menace by our rangers. And Honorable Speaker, we are going to propose an amendment in this particular amendment bill to anchor, because these are uniformed forces. This law allows us, this amendment allows us currently, the amendment bill allows us to have the Cabinet Secretary designate uniformed and disciplined officers for the purpose of serving and as rangers. These people have firearms, they have guns, and for whatever purposes and reasons, they also need to be under the oversight of IPOA. And therefore, we'll be proposing an amendment to have these designated disciplined and uniformed officers be under direct oversight of IPOA. And this is going to help us deal with the particular issues that we are facing with our rangers. Honorable Speaker, finally, we have an issue around the chain of custody and timber grading. Again, we have our forests worth billions of shillings. These products that we get from our forests need to be identified, the particular source from which these particular forest products were harvested. And this is because, Honorable Speaker, this bill seeks also to extend the services of KFS to also private and community land forests. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it's only fair that because we have had a lot of challenges with substandard materials getting or products getting to our markets, either through importation or exportation, we want to be able to identify specifically which products are from which particular source, and therefore the bill has proposed an introduction of the chain of custody and timber grading. The timber grading will allow us to use professionals who are going to be licensed by the proposed Office of the Director of Forest Regulation. And this timber grading will therefore then work together with the chain of custody so that we can know if there is a substandard timber product or forest product, what is its source, what is its source. As such, again, of course, therefore, transportation of any materials will also then be accompanied by a permit. The law or this piece of legislation had proposed transportation as a crime. Currently, the available act, as it is, recognizes moving products within the forest as a crime, starting fires as a crime, but does not recognize transportation as a crime. And therefore, what has happened is that KFS officers have actually colluded with people. They cut down trees, they harvest, and they give these particular products to another person to transport. What essentially that means is that in the past, there's never been a crime to transport stolen materials. But right now, with the chain of custody, we will be able to track down every product so that, because it is actually a crime to transport materials without a permit, therefore every single piece of material that or forest product that is being transported, we will be able to trace it down to the forest from which it was harvested. Honorable Speaker, this bill, if enacted into law, will enhance sustainable forest management, strengthen governance and institution coordination within the forest sector, promote conservation and rehabilitation of forest resources, and improve the participation of communities and stakeholders in the forest management. Honorable Speaker, the Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining, having considered the bill and facilitated public participation on the bill, recommends that the House approves the bill with amendments. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Kawaya. Komingoi, are you queuing for this? Charles Ngusia, are you queuing for this? Yes, Bowen.
Honorable Speaker, this bill has been debated extensively, Honorable Speaker. In the last few weeks, I'm making a suggestion.
Go ahead, you
Honorable
don't have
Speaker.
to be distracted.
You
are addressing the Speaker, not Oundo.
Yes, we had debated this bill extensively, Honorable Speaker. We were only waiting the input from the public participation, which the Honorable Chair has given out very well. Honorable Speaker, if it is in order that we ask the mover of this bill to reply, Honorable Speaker, so that we make a progress with other business of the House, because we debated for almost, I think, close to 2 weeks.
Let me see. Shakil, hold on, Shakil. I can see Shakil and Oundo. I'll give those two. And Bukose, then the mover be ready to reply. Let me start with Shakil. So
thank you.
After Shakil, Bukose, after Bukose, Oundo, then mover to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, Kenya's forest cover has depreciated by about 90% since pre-independence. We had the Forest Service, we have the director or chief forester, and we had a very good service that was working together with the KWS. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm an honorary warden of KWS, and we interact very closely with the KFS, the Kenya Forest Service. Mr. Speaker, sir, firstly, I want to just tell you this college or academy should be I agree with them, they don't need another academy. But the most important thing, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that forest rangers have been falsely accused many times. 1 out of 5 may be corrupt, but they are used by leaders to do what is not within their purview. So we are looking at forest rangers as culprits, as those who are indisciplined. They're actually from the service. They are trained, they have a gun, and they use that to protect themselves. But not, I know 1 or 2 people, I know a number of people have been killed. Mr. Speaker, sir, the problem is Wananchi. Wananchi always had the right, even in the past, to go and collect what is called those pieces of wood, forest branches that were fallen on the ground. It was something that has been done for years and years, and they never destroyed the forest. What had happened thereafter is if you fly over, Mr. Speaker, across Molo and Albergan, etc., you'll be shocked. And at the way the forest has been decimated in the middle. And that, of course, is involved sometimes, and I'm sure the Forest Service officers may be involved. Mr. Speaker, sir, at one time, we had sandalwood in this house, in Kenya. The majority of the sandalwood was taken out of the country. A majority leader, you might want to hear this, was with the support of one gentleman who was in power at the time, and he literally wiped out the sandalwood in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, sir, I noticed this money. This is also a money bill, and we need to talk about the money bill. Our uniformed officers are paid very low. They are put into situations, normally in forest, which they cannot maintain, and they try their best to work on the basis. The chief forester needs support by bringing another department, and by all means, shall let it be there. They call it the Directorate of Forest Regulations. That's fine. Does that mean that the chief forester has no say whatsoever? I think he was like the Director of Forest Regulations, but perhaps you are trying to dilute all that, so the chief forester remains just in charge of the rangers. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that I noticed on the board of the institute, which no longer is there, but just to point out, there were a number of people, about 11 officers on the board, and KWS was not part of that board. I know this is being dropped, but it's very important, Mr. Speaker, sir, to put together the Kenya Wildlife Services and the Kenya Forest Services. We work together, and they work together. Even if you go to the Masai Mara, you find them working hand to hand. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is the money bill, and there are a number of issues, including the issue of fines. And I agree with my colleague that the fines must be upgraded to more than 1 million or maybe a couple of 100,000, so that these people can be followed. The transportation of wood also is important because it's stolen property. And then there is the issue of the wood that comes from Uganda and Congo and Rwanda, the hardwood. We really don't know whether they are coming from there, but they come over here unabated, so we don't know what it's looking at. And I think the Forest Service needs to have some sort of policy as to in respect of importation of wood. Not recently, about 6 months ago, His Excellency allowed the harvesting of certain mature trees. Immediately thereafter, in Elburgan and other places, all over Kenya, we saw a lot and lots of wood harvested and on the side of the road. And that seemed to be they seem to be not controlled. And my heart really went out to these, because I felt that we are losing the essence of forest management. And by bringing other people now, all called regulators and others, we are going to isolate the rangers. So I feel that the rangers must work with the chief forest officer, and the chief forest officer should be very much with the chief forest registration, whatever they called him just now. With those few remarks, Mr. Chair, I want to state that I'll be sending my other proposals to this bill so that we don't rush some of these things through. We must protect our forests. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Bukoze.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill with some amendments. Honorable Speaker, our forests are actually our life, and therefore they must be protected. I come from a constituency that I have 3 forests, big forests: Swam, Kimodon, and Kiptokot Forest, which are within the Mount Elgon water tower. And these, Honorable Speaker, are some of our key areas that we must be able to make sure that they are protected, and that our communities also benefits from this. Honorable Speaker, when you look at in terms of resources, you will find that the Kenya Forest Service has been harvesting trees from these areas But when you look at what goes back to the community, it is actually quite negligible, because right from Swam all the way to even social forest in Saboti, you cannot pinpoint what major project has been done by the Kenya Forest Service. Yet our people have been protecting these forests, and even some of them have lost life in their duty of even looking for firewood, our women and our boys. Recently, in Kimodon Forest, a young man, Boaz, was killed by the Kenya Wildlife Service officers just for carrying firewood. And this has been happening, either being killed by Kenya Wildlife Service or being rangers, or being killed by the Kenya Forest Service rangers. And this, Honorable Speaker, I think with this bill, I think we should be able to rein in the discipline within those services, because when they engage themselves to kill the communities, members of the communities bordering them, then they bring bad relationship between the Kenya Forest Service and the wananchi who are working there. You will find that under the Kenya Forest Service Management Bill of 2016, there is creation of the CFA, Community Forest Associations, which is supposed to be part and parcel of protecting these forests. And therefore, when you get that the rangers coming there and behaving in a wild manner, like animals, when they find anybody within the forest catchment area, I think that is something that should be discouraged. And Honorable Speaker, I think in this bill, we should be able to separate the command structure of the rangers, because more often you will find that the chief conservator is a civilian. He's not somebody who has risen through the ranks of a ranger or being an armed officer. And therefore, there is some disconnect between the chief conservator and who is in command of the forest rangers. And therefore, I think that is what creates a lot of indiscipline within the Kenya Forest Service rangers, and that causes harm within the community. And therefore, in this issue about us achieving the target that has been set by His Excellency, the President, of planting 15 million trees, I don't think we can be able to achieve if there is no cooperation between the community and the service that is supposed to provide guidance and support to the communities to make sure that we go into the same direction. Honorable Speaker, in harvesting the timber from the forests that are within those areas, some of the roads to those forests are also destroyed. And you'll find that it is with the members through either CARA or even through CDF that we are able to repair some of those roads. And therefore we ask ourselves, the harvest that is being done, the A that is being generated, how come it cannot be pumped back to make sure that the roads are well maintained within those areas, the trees are replanted within those areas, and the community can also benefit from those dead wood that falls down, and they might not be of any use, but it will be of value to the community when they are using the wood for their cooking and other activities. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important bill that is before this House, and since it has been contributed a lot by many of the members, I'll reserve my comments at that level, but I support the bill and I'll be coming with amendments. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also arise to comment on the Forest Conservation Management Amendment Bill 2025. Honorable Speaker, as I stand here, it reminds me one typical joke that rains don't come from forests, they come from heaven. And I do believe this probably lends to the credence that you can never underrate the impact of forests. We are always told through literature and practice that for us to ascertain a certain level of environmental protection, we need a certain forest cover. The Kenyan forest cover is below the national standards, and probably many researchers would have informed the reason why many of the trees have been cut and forests have reduced all over the country. Honorable Speaker, the bill introduces some of new terminologies in the definitions that probably are in tandem with the climate change regime that we are debating at the moment. Honorable Speaker, there are a few provisions in the bill that requires rethink. And I want to pick up where Dr. Bukosa has left off. The issue of forest rangers, the issue of abuse of the firearms by the forest rangers requires something that needs to be addressed. We had hoped that this amendment to the bill would have addressed that issue. You remember the issue that happened like in Nakuru, where Brian Odhiambo was allegedly killed by KWS rangers, and nothing has been done now. Honorable Speaker, the bill under clause 6 seeks to amend section 16 of the Principal Act to transfer, Honorable Speaker, or to transfer or to clarify the management of forest, designate a specific cadre of the staff of the service to be uniformed and disciplined officers of such ranks as shall be determined the service with approval of the Cabinet Secretary. The Cabinet Secretary, in respect of this bill, Honorable Speaker, is the Cabinet Secretary in charge of forestry and conservation and natural resources. Honorable Speaker, uniformed officers need to be under uniformed command. Honorable Speaker, many Kenyans have spoken to seems to be a bit afraid that the abuse perpetuated by the rangers, if this bill stands as the way it is going to get out of hand. So the suggestion has been, and with the permission we'll discuss with the chair of the committee, we need to probably operate like any other forces. Let KWS be uniformed police officers, trained, and probably with a bit of command from the National Police Services to ensure uniformity and accountability. Honorable Speaker, the way it is...
Are they not uniformed?
They are uniformed, but they need to be under central command, just like all other, just like it's provided for in the Constitution and Article 244. So that we do not want these disparate cases that there's another person who has got guns bought by the government of Kenya tax people's spare money and is not accountable to any disciplined officer. So we need to relook at that. I hope they will agree we will deal with that matter. Honorable Speaker, the bill establishes Kenya Forest Academy. Kenya Forest Academy to offer training in forestry. Honorable Speaker, a number of universities in the country currently have got a whole degree course called forestry and related activities. I really do not know where the overlap will be, where the connection will be, where the synergy will be. Is it a case of duplication or is it a case of specialized? Like now that after university degree, you go to the academy to get more detailed training to enable you to become a professional and have a professional certification for that matter. Honorable Speaker, of course, there's also provisions in the bill that requires now one of the functions of the county government shall implement national policies on forest management and conservation. I do believe somebody might ask, county governments are independent, but they are interdependent. What will happen to this matter? Honorable Speaker, the bill also provides quite a number of issues that seems to be an overlap. There's going to be an overlap between NEMA, it's going to be an overlap between other Ministry of Agriculture, there's going to be an overlap in the Ministry related to water. So I hope at the point of cleaning up, Honorable Speaker, we will clean it up so that we align, we avoid duplication, we avoid overlap that will bring unnecessary contentions in the implementation of the bill. Honorable Speaker, the bill also introduces so many other offices that's not going to be another behemoth of a bureaucracy. It has so many other offices, and I do believe we'll have a chance to clean it up as we proceed. Finally, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I just want to urge people of Kenya that a tree today saves lives tomorrow. Planting a tree today saves our environment, saves our country. Wherever you are, whenever you can have space, let us plant trees adequately so that we can increase our forest cover and return the rains that we used to experience in this country in the early 80s and mid 90s. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support. Time allowing, I'll move some amendments. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader, mover.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And allow me, Honorable Speaker, to begin first by thanking the Honorable Kawaya and his Committee for Environment for the very good public participation they did. And for those who have bothered to read the report of the committee, you see there are many pertinent issues that were raised by people in Makueni, some in Kwale. And again, looking at the recommendation of the committee, you can clearly see that they have addressed the concerns that were raised, especially on matters of devolution issues by people in Makueni. And they have indeed addressed that issue to make sure that we don't claw back on the gains of devolution, and also ensure that there is no duplication of work between what is being done by KFS in terms of providing technical assistance to private and community landowners and the issues that were raised by the public in Makueni in terms of ensuring that there is no duplication of this work by KFS and not claw back on devolution. And since this bill is also going to the Senate, Honorable Speaker, upon its adoption here, I believe that also those in the Senate will also work through their committee to ensure that they protect the issues that touch on devolution and management of our forests. Honorable Speaker, many of the issues that have been raised, if you listen to what Honorable Oundo is saying, what Honorable Pukosa was saying, issues touching on the designation of the Kenya Forest Academy. Again, if you look at the report by the committee following their public participation, it's true that they saw that possibility of duplication of roles. And indeed, part of the amendments that they have proposed, since we have the Kenya Forest College, Kenya Forestry College, is to, under Clause 7, to avoid that duplication, they are rejecting the establishment of the Kenya Forest Academy, since we already have a college in existence. Also, Honorable Speaker, you've heard from what Honorable Oundo has said, the issues that Honorable Pukosa has said, and issues that were touched on, where you have disciplined officers. It is true, these officers are in uniform. Therefore, being uniformed and disciplined officers, there ought also to be a clear mechanism of oversight of these officers. And the committee, again, following public participation, and following the concerns, as Honorable Oundo has raised, the issue of the KWS officers in Nakuru, Lake Nakuru, the issue Honorable Pukosa has raised of a young person who was killed by KFS officers somewhere in his constituency, we have proposed, or the committee has proposed, that these officers they are proposing an amendment to make sure that these officers fall under the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA. Therefore, any transgressions against the people by these officers will be addressed through IPOA. Honorable Speaker, also you see the committee has introduced provisions that regulate the import, export and re-export of our forest products more strictly, ensuring that our local timber graders and experts are registered and protected from unfair trade from either our neighbors or other people from outside of our jurisdiction. Honorable Speaker, the many issues that were raised through public participation, I see from the committee's report, they have proposed a number of amendments that will address many of the issues that stakeholders and members of the public were able to raise. I saw a lot of support, especially on the payment for ecosystem services, and I followed from the minutes of the committee the support that, particularly the people of Kwale, were very supportive of this payment for ecosystem services provision in the bill. And the residents expressed their very strong support for this. But we must also work to ensure that we also protect private forest owners. And there is a distinction that the committee has created to make sure that there is a clear distinction of what is public or community forest and the private owners of forests. And also to ensure that there is a clear distinction of even the benefits that come from climate change and carbon credit trading, both for private forest owners, community forest owners, and even public forests. Honorable Speaker, let me not belabor much because as Honorable Bowen had said, we debated this bill immensely and had sought to adjourn it to benefit from the public participation process, which the committee has done, as has been clearly been captured by Honorable Kawaya, Honorable Kose, who have spoken this afternoon, and also Honorable Undo, and the member for Kisumu Town, Honorable Shakir Shabir. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to reply and urge members to support this bill, even as we go to Committee of the Whole House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, member on the feet. Take your seats. Order members, take your seats. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 10, which is that the Forest Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2025, be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Those of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Forest Conservation and Management Act and for connecting